Hop on the Chat Nook choo-choo, hop on the Chat Nook choo. On the Chat Nook choo-choo, hop on the Chat. Hop on the Chat Nook choo-choo. Hop on the Chat Nook. Hop on the Chat Nook choo-choo, hop on the Chat Nook choo. Hop on the Chat Nook choo-choo, hop on the Chat. Hop on the Chat.
Hello, everybody. How you doing today? This is Christine Deaton pulling into the Chat Nook on the Chat Nook Choo Choo, and I hope everybody is doing well today and ready to do some chatting, as we say. Today is May 3rd, 2026, and again, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you've had a good Sunday so far, and we're going to sit and talk about all kinds of things. So, first of all, I always want to say this before we even get started is, everything that I say on here is my opinion, and you can agree with it or disagree with it. Freedom of speech. So I just say what I think and what I feel, and you guys can always dispute that and we can chat, or you can agree, whatever you want. And remember that during the show we like you to like and subscribe and put your comments in, because Chris follows it as we do the show. Sometimes I can, if I'm not really concentrating on everything that I'm talking about, I'll actually read some of the stuff on the screen, but I kind of leave that up to him so that he can do that. So, welcome to the Chat Nook. So today, I always start with, you know what I always start with. I always start with Nancy Guthrie. There is nothing new, absolutely nothing new, but I think I start with that because about the time I started the show, this podcast, all the Nancy Guthrie things were happening. It's 3 months, guys, and nothing. So there's really nothing to report except that the people still involved with the Nancy Guthrie case say it is still active and it is not cold. Well, I beg to differ, but what do I know? I'm sure that they are still working. I know they are. They're still working on the case, right? The biggest thing right now is that they found those hairs, and they're still waiting for the DNA. So that's all I have for you on that. So we're going to talk about 2 other things in the news, and then I want to hit on some other things that are really preying on my mind. Okay, just things that make me go. It just make you kind of go, what are people thinking? So, in the news right now, whoever you watch, it's this D4VD. It's this rapper guy, David. So this guy got famous around 2005, I think. He was born in 2005. In Queens, New York. And he grew up then in Houston, Texas. And he became a TikTok star. And this guy is big in the TikTok world. He's a rapper. Okay? Now, let me tell you a little story about David. Okay? So David, 21 years old. He has a 13-year-old girlfriend. Okay, right then and there, that's creepy. Absolutely creepy. 13-year-old girlfriend. He actually started the relationship with this girl when she was 11. This young girl named Celeste. Again, I can say names and stuff because it's all over the news. I'm not giving you any other information that you haven't heard 1,000 times before if you watch the news at all, or if you look at your phone or your computer. So he starts this relationship with this girl when she was 11 years old, okay, which would have made him 19. Hello, Carolyn. Thank you for being here today on the Chat Nook. Hope you're doing well. Continues the relationship, but something happened. Something very bad happened. And so let me tell you how he decided to solve his problem. Okay? And I'll tell you in a minute what they think happened and what pushed him to do whatever he did. They find that he, on a lot of, like Amazon or one of those online ordering places, that he ordered a kiddie pool, he ordered a chainsaw, he ordered a burn kit, he ordered all these very weird things on the internet. And the idiot that he is, he doesn't realize that, again, we talked about footprints last week, but this is all the footprints that are leading them to what he did. He gets the girl. Now she's 13. He kills her. He mutilates her. But he's smart enough to mutilate her in the pool that he ordered so that it doesn't make a mess. Okay? Burns her, all the things that, a really nice guy would do. Anyway, he kills this 13-year-old girl. So now they retrieve his phone. And they find out, oh God, that for like 2 years he's been taking pictures of him and this girl engaged in a sexual relationship. Okay? They also find thousands of text messages. Now, I'm not verifying this yet because it was one of the very last things that I read about it, but there was some mention of that the girl was pregnant. And maybe that's perhaps what pushed him over the edge and had made him kill her and then mutilate her and burn her and all the fabulous things that he did to this little girl. I guess at some point, her parents found out about this relationship with him, took away all of her, her phone, her computer, took all that stuff away. But of course, then that's what parents should do. But that idiot died. Well, you know what he does? He goes and gets her a burner phone, and he goes to her junior high school. Do you hear what I said? Junior high school. And gives it to one of her friends to give to her so that they can still communicate. Wasn't that nice of him? So thoughtful. He still wanted to be in contact with her, and he's got to keep that connection going, so he gets her a burner phone. Anyway, the evil, again, that's in people's minds, and how is any human capable of doing the stuff that he did to that 13-year-old girl is beyond any comprehension that any of us, and I talk about us normal people, what is normal? But normal is really somewhere in the middle, okay? And I'd like to think that most of us fit in the normal section. But there's too much. It almost feels to me like that normal section is narrowing. And these crazy things on both sides are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. When you have children murdering and raping and this guy chopping up a 13-year-old girl, where does the insanity end? I mean, it really is very mind-boggling what this poor girl must have gone through. Because apparently, one of the other things that I read was that she didn't die right away. That whatever the first thing was that he did to her didn't kill her. And so the girl suffered very, very, very badly. So So now what happens? So you get some guy like this, right? And you, send him up the river. He'll go to trial, and of course, I'd like to think that he'll be found guilty. And then what? And then what? And then what? Well, he either gets the death penalty, which he probably won't die for 20 to 30 years, whatever that's all about. Or he'll spend the rest of his life in prison, and then everybody's got to feed him and house him and everything else. And that's what's going to happen. I just don't know in this country if the punishment fits the crime anymore. I'd like your opinion, but that's how I feel about it. So anyway, this guy, I mean, he had a good start. He had a really good start. He started just doing TikTok stuff in his sister's closet. And then it took off, and boom, and now he's this rapper guy, and he's got millions of viewers, and he had the world on a platter. And look what he did with that platter. So, I don't know. There are just too many stories and too many sick people in this world that it makes you very, very scared. And I hate to always come on and talk about these things, but we need to be aware. We just need to be aware of what is happening in our world, in our surrounding world. That all the crazy things. Does that mean everything's crazy? Of course not. But there's too much of this going on. Let's talk about Tanner Horner. You know the guy, I talked about him last week, that took the little girl in the FedEx truck and, thought it was a good idea to kill this beautiful little girl. So, right now he's in trial, okay? It literally is going through right now, the whole trial. The grandmother gets on the stand. She actually raised him because this guy's mother was a drug addict. Which, see what I mean about what's happening to the generations before? Maybe that's what the problem is. Go back to the generations before, because something is wrong, okay? So the grandmother raised him, okay? Now, obviously he's a FedEx driver. The grandmother sees, get this kind of boggles my mind, okay? The grandmother's home, she's watching TV, and the news was on. And on the news, it says, little girl from Paradise, which was the community that this happened in, is missing. If anybody sees her, please contact the police. Now, the grandmother knows that that's her grandson's route. So what does she do? She takes a picture from the TV and sends it to her grandson and says to him, hey, there's a little girl in your area missing. This is what she looks like. Be on the lookout. And he says, okay, I will. She doesn't realize that this POS is why the little girl's missing. Now the grandmother's up there apologizing to, the little girl's family and all this stuff. And it's like, she's saying, he's had problems and, blah, blah, blah. I get it. The guy has problems. He does have problems. But let me tell you where his problems led, okay? In the jury, as the jury was listening to this case, there was a part of the case where the judge says, listen, we're going to play for you the audio of the abduction and the murder he didn't realize had been taping, okay? Again, all that electronic stuff. This idiot doesn't realize that it's been captured on the audio. So the judge tells the jury and anybody who was in the room, this is very graphic and disturbing. So if you don't want to hear it, you need to leave now. Now the jury can't leave. They don't have a choice. But the little girl's mom and dad, who are divorced now, they leave, and a bunch of the people in the courtroom leave. Do you know that between the abduction and him murdering the little girl and then dumping her was over an hour of torturing that little girl? Over an hour. Okay? Then they show the video. You can see, you can pull that up today. After he does what he does, he finishes his route, although he does call his boss and he says, hey, listen, I must have had some bad food for lunch because I'm behind schedule because I'm throwing up for bad lunch. Really? He knew enough to lie. Okay? They show him, he pulls up to his house and he gathers all his stuff like a regular day at the end of, end of the day's work. Goes in like nothing happened. They're trying to say that he's got all these terrible problems and his autism and all this stuff. But then they've had doctors come up, doctors who have actually worked with him for certain things in the past, saying there was nothing about anything that he did in that truck to that little girl that had any signs of a very ill man or a man not conscious of what he was doing. And so here's another guy. So what happens now? Well, he's already in the court system. He's in his trial. They're trying to get the death penalty, but I'm at the point where I'm like, so? Or life in prison. Those two things again. I don't know what the solution is, but I know that our system in this country is just not right. It's just not right. If you want to know what I think about what I think prisoners should do, go back to my last show and watch it, because I give you my opinion on that. Again, all my opinion, guys. And agree to disagree. I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. But I'm sorry, if you are a normal human being and you're looking at these stories, you go, what happened? What the heck happened to these people that made them this sick that they could as a human being, I say that lightly, can do that to another human being? It's just off the charts, evil and just horrendous, and it makes me very sick to my stomach. All right. So those are the two big things in the news right now. Again, the Nancy Guthrie case, nothing new. 3 months. It's been 3 months, guys, and really nothing new. So I wanted to bring up a weird subject. Now, this might be a subject that's going to, make people mad or agree with me. It's kind of one of those, it's not really a gray subject on this. You're either black or white on this. I think most people. There's not a whole lot of gray on this. But let's talk about marijuana for a minute. And I bring that up because yesterday, Chris and I were going into town, and there has been a car sitting. I live in a very beautiful section in my area. It's the road itself. It's a very picturesque road, okay? And it's a very windy little road, and it's right on the water, and it's very beautiful. And every holiday, because the trees kind of almost have built its own like awning. It's just beautiful. And you always see people on the side of the road, because they have these little indentions where you can pull off and fish, or just pull off and sit there and look at the water and stuff like that. It's a beautiful place. And so for about a week, there's been this car there, and there's been this guy in this car there, and there's been this guy in the same clothes in this car there. And so, and we go into town probably every day. So that's a trip out and a trip in. Sometimes it's a couple of trips out, a couple of trips in. And there's this guy sitting there. And I said to my husband the very first day that he was there, because of course I'm on the passenger side, and that's where this side of where the water is. And I said, that looks weird. There's a guy there, but it looks like his car is just packed with stuff. I said to him, it almost looks like he's living there. Next day, guy's still there, same clothes, okay? Third day, fourth day, fifth day. Now we're about a week in. Well, the one day, I see him again. Now, the other thing about it was, every time you pass that section, it just reeked of marijuana. The whole area reeked of marijuana. By the seventh day, same guy, same clothes, same everything, reeking of marijuana. The biggest concern for me was that this is right by the water. There's always a ton of people there, but people come and go every day, every day, every day. But right, probably not even a half a mile up from this section, is kind of an older mobile home park. It's very small. There may be, 8 to 10 mobile homes. It's the other side of it's the water and a beautiful part, and a part of the countryside. But it looks like they've been there a long time. But there's never any problems there. Very quiet. People keep it kind of clean. So anyway, we're out here going on 3 years, and I've never seen any kind of an issue in this area. But the very first mobile home in this area, there's a bunch of little kids, and I'm thinking, and then you've got this guy. And I said to my husband, this is not good. This is not good. So we called the police, and the police said, we'll go check it out. Well, the next time we went into town, his car was gone. And I said, I felt bad about maybe doing that and the guy having to leave, but A, that's not where you live, okay? And B, what if this guy, because of all this stuff I see all the time, what if this guy is just casing the joint, and there's those little kids right there? So no, as citizens, we need to do something about this. And apparently the police thought so too, because the guy was gone. But again, the place reeked of marijuana. I mean, you didn't even have to have your windows down. You'd be driving by and your whole car would smell like a skunk. So we started talking about marijuana. And I said, I'm a little on the other side of you shouldn't do this, because I told you guys in the past, I've never done an illegal drug in my life. I don't even like to take real drugs for real things. That's just me. That's just me. Okay, that's how I am. I've always been that way. But I wanted to look up marijuana. I wanted to look up, which would probably get me tagged again online or something, you know what I'm talking. But anyway, I've got looking up all this stuff about marijuana.
You're going to start getting
I'm going to start getting ads.
You're going to start getting dispensary ads.
I probably will. Anyway, I started to look up legalizing marijuana. When did this happen? Where did it happen? Blah, blah, blah. So let me just fill you guys in on some of the things that I did find out about it. So the process of legalizing marijuana in the United States started in California in 1996. It's a long time ago, right? 20 years ago. 20 years ago or 30 years? 20, what is that, 96?
96 would
And we're in 26?
Yeah, so at least 30 years.
16, 30 years ago. Okay. So, but Colorado and Washington states became the first states to legalize for recreational use. Okay, there's a big difference because they talk about medicinal use and recreational use, okay? So they legalized it in Washington and Colorado in 2012. Okay, those are the first two states. As of 2026, 24 states plus Washington, D.C. have legalized it, and 40 states, now let me go back. 24 states and D.C. have legalized it for recreational use, okay? 40 states have legalized it for medical marijuana, okay? It says that Oregon was the first state to decriminalize cannabis in 1973. 73. So I thought, okay, but what does this mean? What does this mean? So now you've got medical marijuana, which I think that became a big deal because, cancer patients, there are medicinal reasons that people use cannabis. I get it. If you are a cancer patient, you are suffering with pain. You're just, cancer patients are very sickly and they have a lot of pain. I knew someone who had medical marijuana many years ago. And so I can see where that would be a reason, and you had to have your medical card, to do marijuana. But then they legalized it. Okay, so now you can have recreational marijuana. Now here's the stipulation on that. They have legalized it for adult use, for recreational use. Adult use. Okay. Here's my problem. Okay, now here's where some of you are going to go, well, you need to shut up. And some of you are going to go, right on. That's how I feel. Whatever side you're on, it's okay. Although many states have legalized marijuana, it is still classified as a Schedule I substance under federal law. So what is a Schedule I? Well, I'm going to tell you what a Schedule I is. Schedule I drugs are substances defined by the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, as having high potential for abuse. They are deemed the most dangerous, creating severe psychological and physical dependency. So what I'm saying is, even though they've given a green light to use the stuff recreationally, that didn't diminish what the drug still has the abilities to do. Nothing as far as that goes has changed. So what does that mean? So, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say stuff like this or not, but I'm gonna give it a shot, and then if you want to shut me down, you can. How many times have you been at your job?
Yes.
And perhaps parents bring in their child or children because there's something wrong with them. They need medical attention, right? Mm-hmm. And the room reeks.
Yes.
Of marijuana.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with this being a, what is it called? The number one. The substance number, what did I call it?
Class 1. Class
1 substance. Like I said, legalizing it did not change what marijuana, what cannabis is. Now they have separated the TH, all them things, whatever you call them. There's
THC,
this,
the CBD, the different.
right?
Yeah.
There's this and there's this, and they've separated that stuff initially for medical marijuana. Okay, that's why they did that. They didn't want these people to be high as kites. They was trying to help them with the pain that they were in. So I get all that. But I can assure you that when these folks are going to the hospital they have their children, something's wrong with their child. Luckily, they had presence of mind enough to bring their child to the emergency room to get help for whatever. And they both reek of this substance. That to me is a little scary. Like, I that's what I'm saying. Where do you draw the line on this stuff? Where do you draw the line? How about all the people that my husband and the people in the ER, they're treating people because they have smoked so much marijuana that they're sick. They're sick. And that's what I'm saying. The only thing that changed is that now you're not going to get arrested if you buy it, because you can get it anywhere, pretty much. Our towns, just locally, there's these places popping up every minute that you're not going to get arrested. But what that drug is doing to you has not changed. So it's very scary to know that it's so readily accessible now. That literally you can't, yes, Alicia, you can't go to a restaurant. You can, it used to be, there was a time, because I love going to casinos, although I haven't gone in a really long time. But I enjoy going to casinos when we can, once in a while. It used to be that you could go to a casino and it would just reek of smoke. And then after, like regular cigarette smoke, which, that's horrible too. I'm going to just throw this stuff out there, guys. Agree to disagree. I don't care. You go to casinos, and then it would be reeking of smoke. By the time you left, you felt like you'd smoked 10 packs yourself. Secondhand smoke, yay. And your clothes stunk. Now, growing up, my parents were both smokers. But back in the 50s and 60s, probably even earlier than that, everybody smoked. It was just a thing. Because they didn't know the risks at that time. Of course now, they know the risks and people still smoke. But anyway, but I remember them smelling like smoke. And then after a while, I remember growing up, I would be like immune to it. I didn't even smell it anymore. And that's what I think happens to smokers too, that they smoke, but they just don't smell it anymore. They don't smell it in their house, they don't smell it in their clothes. But trust me, it's there. And if you're not a smoker, you can smell it on somebody's clothes, you can smell it in their house, you can smell it in their car, you can smell it just walking around them. But now you go to casinos, and I can assure you, you hardly ever smell a cigarette anymore, because everywhere you turn, am I right?
No,
it is cannabis. The casinos reek of cannabis, and that is disgusting. Casinos all smell like a big fat skunk. I know I'm going to get responses from this. I'm going to. But the fact is, they all smell like skunk. And the casinos, they need to get better at their exhaust systems or whatever they're going to do. Or, something. My mother would say, Febreze it. My dear mother loved Febreze, and she would Febreze. She called it everything. But the casinos all need Febreze because it's gotten to a point where just everybody stinks. And frankly, as a non-smoker of any kind, I'm offended by it. How about you guys? I don't know. Tell me what you think. Yeah, I was talking about the homeless guy out here, the casinos, neighbors, malls. Everything stinks anymore. So anyway, the point of that is that I don't care how many states have passed the laws that yes, you can go buy marijuana. It's legal. You could just go over there to that CBD store, and you can go to that Kratom store, and this and that. I don't even know what that crap means. But they're popping up everywhere. People are doing it. I have a feeling that those of us who don't do it are the minority anymore. Because everywhere you go, you smell it. You smell it on people. Everybody walks around smelling like a big skunk. Yes, I can see you want to say something.
No, I don't know statistically if we are in the minority if we don't use it, but I do know that its use is widespread.
Right.
And like anything else, with cigarette smoking or anything else, the longer you do it, the more damage you do to your system.
Right.
So,
yeah.
When you look at now all the young people that are doing it, even casually, not maybe necessarily daily, but even just casually on a regular basis over a period of years, they may not see the big negative effects of it besides them smelling like skunks, as you say, when they go out.
Well, sorry.
But they may not see the negative effects of that until later on in their life.
Like smokers from back then,
yep.
who most of them wound up with some kind of lung cancer or something,
Yes.
because that's what, tobacco and nicotine did to those people. But at the time, they didn't have that knowledge, and it was just something you did back in the day. But then how many people of that next generation or whatever died of the repercussions of smoking cigarettes?
Right.
And now everybody's going to start having cannabis problems.
They'll see it, and we know, and that's the thing is, I think, there are all kinds of campaigns that have been going on for a while now about tobacco smoke and what it does to your body, and even chewing tobacco and how that affects you and the cancer risks and stuff. They made marijuana legal for recreational use.
Yeah.
And you can be, in most places, I think 18, and go and buy this stuff.
I think it is 18.
And they really have not,
18.
there have not been the campaigns to educate people as to what it does to your system
I don't think people
further
would
down
care.
the road. And so people, these 18-year-olds go out, they buy it, they use it, thinking, it's legal, it's not going to do anything to me, and they've never been told the damage it can do. And it does similar things to tobacco to your body. Anytime you are inhaling a superheated substance into your lungs, you're damaging lung tissue, whatever it is.
Very recently, we've had an issue in the family, and with marijuana, I'm not going to go into all that detail, but one of the things that kept coming up from the person doing it, it's legal. What does that mean?
Doesn't mean it's smart.
I was going to say, oh, that's a good answer. Yes, it's legal. Yes, it's legal. What are we doing?
No, go ahead.
But it's still a drug, and it's still not good for you. And we still don't want it in our home. And it doesn't matter. We're still trying to follow rules and regulations and keeping you alive. But that's the thing. That's the comeback now from lots of people. Well, it's legal. Well, that frustrates me because, yes, you can't fight that argument. What are you going to say? But it's still a drug. That didn't change. Now, how long has cannabis been around? A long time. I don't know. Was peyote back in the days of the Indians kind of
years,
it's been
probably.
here. It's not like it came yesterday and everybody's like, ooh, this is great. I'm not saying it's a new thing. But what is new is that now you can go get it. If you feel like getting high, you can just go down the block and you can get whatever you need. That's the problem with it. And it's so readily available, and everybody stinks. And I'm sorry, I don't care. But I don't like, you know what? I don't like the smell of a skunk when it's a real skunk outside. I don't like people that smell like skunks because that's offensive. I know you're laughing at
No,
me.
it's.
But,
I mean,
but
no,
it's
I'm not laughing at you.
true.
I mean, it's just. It's
disgusting.
It seems like common sense, and I suppose, to the simple matter of maybe they get nose blind to the fact that they smell like a skunk, but you would think they would notice when they walk into a room and it clears out because nobody can stand to be around them that there's something on them that's a problem.
Anyway, that's my take on marijuana, and you can tell that I'm not for it. And I pray to God that I have all these amazing grandchildren coming up, and people have made it so commonplace that I don't ever want them. Now they've got all of us saying, don't you dare. But God forbid. But you know that the world is a tough place. It's become tougher, and I'm scared to death for all of the generations coming up because this world has gone crazy.
Just a quick story to tag on to that.
Yes.
So I had a patient in the
he
emergency
laughs at me a
room.
lot, by the way, when I say stuff.
I had a patient a couple of days ago in the emergency room that was there for what we determined were marijuana-associated symptoms.
See?
Severe abdominal pain, repetitive vomiting, and we see
nice.
we see this a lot. And so we end up talking with them and trying to educate them as to what the problem is, why they have the symptoms that they have. And he said to me, so you've never smoked marijuana?
So was it a man or a lady? You said this lady came in.
No, I said a patient.
Oh, a patient. Okay.
It happened to be a 19-year-old male.
Okay. There you go.
He said, "You've never smoked marijuana?" I said, "No, I've never smoked."
What's the matter with you, Chris?
And he went, "Wow, really?"
See?
And he was absolutely shocked, as if in my mind then, everybody in his circle of people in his life smokes pot, and I'm like, man, that to me is the wow that everybody around you smokes it so much that you're shocked when you meet somebody who's not?
Who never has. Somebody in their 60s who's never, ever smoked it.
Yeah,
I think we are a rare breed. I have to tell you. I think we're a rare breed, and yay for the rare breed, because I never, growing up, look, my friends are usually out there listening to this, my friends from Brooklyn, and we could tell you that, there were a couple of kids who did some drugs. One actually died of a heroin overdose, but nobody bothered with him. He didn't even bother any of us. He was a handsome, good-looking guy, a little bit older than the rest of us, but he wound up dying of a heroin overdose in a hallway or something. And then there was a guy that lived across the street from me, and he did drugs, and I if I'm not mistaken, he years later passed away. But there were so many of us kids that hung out every day, and nobody was doing drugs. Nobody. And I'm just, to me, the people that were doing drugs were like, ooh, bad people, what are they doing? And now it's so commonplace that I literally worry about generations to come, because what's going to happen? Okay, so all that being said, I'm trying to, as I do this show, doing some feel-good stuff at the end of it, because by golly, I've literally been looking for things that I can say, look at this. This is possible. Now, even though the three people that I'm going to talk about very quickly are ancient, okay, what they contributed to society is huge, okay? That stuff doesn't go away. These are the things we want. We want the success stories from then and now. So Thomas Edison, Now listen to this. Thomas Edison was told he was too dumb to learn. He failed over 1,000 times before successfully inventing the light bulb. So it says that, and he said that showing failure is just one step towards success. Because obviously, if you fail at something and you just stop, well, then you've lived in failure. But if you use that failure to not fail the next time, or the next time, or 1,000 times later, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, we've got light bulbs, like forever, ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So thank you, Thomas Edison. Colonel Sanders, I actually met him many, many years ago in Arizona. My mom was working at a restaurant. It was a famous restaurant in our town. And John Wayne ate there. There were a lot of famous people. It was like the place to go. It was called The Arches, and it was in Casa Grande, Arizona. And Colonel Sanders came in there, and he looked, I mean, the whole getup. Maybe he was doing a promo thing, I don't know, but he was Colonel Sanders. Do you know that at age 65, okay, after being rejected 1,009 times, found success, finally, with Kentucky Fried Chicken. He was turned down 1,009 times. And look at the legacy that Colonel Sanders, because even at the age of 65, he did not stop trying to get to a dream or a goal or whatever it was. Now, I don't know what he did before then, but it took him till the age of 65 to do something with his chicken. And by golly, people are still eating his chicken. And then the third one that I want to talk about today, and then I'm going to end this with something that's near and dear to my heart right now. J.K. Rowling. Who is that? Well, she's the author of Harry Potter. Okay? Mother of 3 children. Okay? Who used to tell her kids a lot of stories, just make up stories. Okay? She was living in poverty at the time. She had lost her mom. This was all in a very short time frame. She had lost her mother. She was divorced. She had no money and had 3 children. And she would tell them stories, okay? And one day she was riding a train somewhere and decided to start writing. Now, she always was interested in writing. She wrote stories even when she was young. But she never did anything with her stories. But she started to write the beginning of the Harry Potter series, which that was in 1997. She wrote from 1997 to 2007 the Harry Potter, all the stories of Harry Potter. And 12 companies that she submitted her first book to said, nah, I bet they're sorry. I bet they're really sorry. And now look at her legacy. So, it's one of those things where people can tell you no all day long. But if you believe in the product, like I keep telling you guys about this book I'm writing, and I believe in my heart from the day I started writing this book, that book was going to be basically my legacy. See what happens. But I'm literally working, perfecting that right now. I've got the cover designed and all that stuff, so I've got the book working. But if you believe in something, don't let anybody tell you it's stupid, you can't do it, because 1,000 people told Thomas Edison, and 1,009 said no to Colonel Sanders. So anyway, I want to leave you with those. Now, the last thing I'm going to talk about today is that grief. I want to talk about grief for a minute. So, as you know, my mother died almost a month. I can't even believe it. In 2 days it'll be a month already, which is just like mind-boggling. But you know, I mean, it's new, it's raw, and my family, we're still struggling. So I wanted to look up some stuff about grief, and I know we're not the only ones dealing with grief. Okay, I know it. And grief doesn't necessarily mean because of a death. It could be because of you've lost your job. I mean, there are many things, of just a broken relationship, whatever, that brings you grief, okay? So grief is a normal response to the loss of something or someone. And it comes in waves. At the beginning, they're big and crashing waves, okay? And you feel this huge, like you're drowning in the waves, okay? But in doing my research, I'm finding it says that you have to allow yourself to be hit by the waves and to feel the pain without judging yourself and without others judging you. One of the most important things is, because we've all been through it, we all know that feeling, is that you have to maintain self-care, which means maintain sleeping, nutrition, exercise, and seek support from either loved ones or professionals if needed. That's why we're here or they're there. Seek help. Just ask for help. Or just sometimes have a conversation, a chat, okay? One of the other things is that it says journal. Journaling is really, really good. Because if you put it down in writing, or you do an artwork, or you talk about your emotions, all of that stuff is kind of like calming those waves. Calming the waves. You write them down. Healing is not linear. There is no timeline. So be patient and avoid rushing the process. And I think that's very important. Do things when you feel like you can do them. But I also think that you can prolong things. You know, give yourselves that time, give myself that time to try to heal, to calm those waves, the waves of sadness. And finally, this is what's hard for me. Honor your loss. Find positive ways to keep the memory of your loved one alive. You don't want to kill the memories. Why would you want to kill the memories? I remember after my dad passed in 2012, somebody said to me, "In time you'll forget." And I thought, I don't want to forget. Why would I want to forget my father? Why would I want to forget my life with my father? It's the same thing with my mother. I don't want to forget. What I want to do is cherish and live in the memories that I have, because nobody can take those away from me. Nobody. The memories get to live forever. The memories will live forever. It's like wearing a keepsake around your neck, and you can take that keepsake off whenever you want, but you can put it on whenever you want. You can't get rid of that. And that's what I'm saying. These are the things that I read about today that I know will help me get through my grief. But your memories are alive and well and will never die. No one can take those away from us. And it's the best way to hold that someone special in your life. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there will be a time when I'm not going to end the show crying. But right now, this is fresh. And this is my grief. But the things that I talked about, I think are helpful. And I'm hoping that just by maybe saying this, some of you who are experiencing the exact same thing right now, this might help. Allow yourself the time to grieve. Allow the pain and allow yourself to let the waves crash, the big ones. Eventually, even the ocean calms down. So with that, I'm going to leave you today on this beautiful Sunday. It is a beautiful Sunday out there. Have a wonderful day. I will be back next Sunday with something else to talk about that'll probably bring a lot of people saying, this girl's crazy. But if you want to talk about something, let me know. Like and subscribe, please. We will see you next week, 2 o'clock, right here, Sunday. Love you guys. Next week is Mother's Day, by the way. It's going to be a tough day. But we're still going to do our podcast, so we'll see you next Sunday. Love you guys. Take care. This is Christine saying bye-bye from The Chat.
Hop on the Chat Nook, choo-choo. Hop on the Chat Nook, choo. On the Chat Nook, choo-choo. Hop on the Chat. Hop on the Chat Nook, choo-choo. Hop on the Chat Nook, choo. Hop on the Chat Nook, choo-choo. Hop on the Chat Nook, choo. Hop on the Chat Nook, choo-choo. Hop on the Chat. Hop on the Chat.